What I would suggest for people who are entering the marketplace for the first time is that I don't want them to be scared of the strength of a cigar. To me, the spectrum of taste is not as big as what the novice perceives in the beginning. So there's a couple of components that make up the system that we struggle with, or not struggle with, but that we, educate people on all the time. Well, the first thought would be, in terms of helping a novice enjoy the category, would be to realize that it's not a race. Cigars are made to be enjoyed. There's a relaxed slowness to them. In fact, if you over puff and if you aggressively smoke, then you can overheat the cigar itself, and with that comes less flavor. When someone comes in, sees an array of product within a given line of cigars, the matter of choice of size, you have to remember the taste should be consistent throughout the line for the most part. So it's just a matter of choosing size and time. There are different shapes of cigars which deal different benefits. Parejo is the most common, cylindrical cigar, a little bit of a rounded head, but for the most part flat. You also have a Torpedo. A Torpedo is a cigar that in theory should be tapered from the very foot all the way to the head, but probably is more so only tapered today in the last inch, 2 inches. And then you have one that's in between, which is called the Bellicoso. Bellicoso is a cylindrical cigar, but in the last 3/4 of an inch or an inch, it comes to a tapered head. The benefit of different shapes, particularly a Torpedo shape, is that when you cut it, you can enjoy a larger ring gauge cigar, but yet have a smaller ring gauge in the mouth actually. So you don't have to hang on to a thick cigar, even though you may want to smoke a thick cigar. There's 3 basic components to how a cigar is made. In our business, in the premium side, we'll speak to filler, binder, and wrapper. Filler on the inside can be long filler or short filler. So the uniqueness of a blend can vary. On the inside, the filler, 3 leaves, 5 leaves, sometimes they'll brag 6 leaves, 7 leaves. Then there is a binder. The binder is what wraps and holds the filler together in place. None of those leaves, filler and binder, have to be perfect. We're burning them strictly for taste. But the wrapper, the 3rd component, has to be perfect. It also tends to be the most flavorful leaf on the cigar. Cigar tobacco is unique because if someone asked, is all lumber the same? Aren't all trees the same? My analogy would simply be that if you want to make your house, I trust you would not make it out of balsa wood, that you would make it out of oak. Same with tobacco. All tobacco is not the same. That's really the magic of the cigar maker. In reality, you can't buy every type of leaf that's available in the world. Blends will vary then from maker to maker to maker because they're not all dealing with the same tobacco. The interesting thing about Cuba and how it plays in our industry is Cuba has a unique spot called the Vuelta Bajo, which is a region in Cuba that yields what we consider to be the most flavorful tobacco in the world. Frustration that we have with Cuban product is the reality of dealing with communist regime and a non-capitalist society, in that if today is the day we need the fertilizer to go on the field, and when there's no fertilizer in the barn because they haven't bought it, then there's no fertilizer to go on the plants. Consequently, there can be issues with quality. There's also issues with quality of manufacturing when you're paying people substandard wages and there's no incentive to make quality on their part, per se. So we have issues with Cuban cigars. Can they make good cigars? Absolutely. Are they all excellent cigars? No.
Pourtant, je vous ai frôlé quand vous passiez hier. Vous n'étiez pas.
The rule to go by in terms of cutting a cigar: if you go too far, if you remove 100% of the end of the cigar, then you've gone past the shoulder, and the shoulder is part of the construction that keeps the wrapper on. So someone who aggressively takes off 1/4 of an inch or 1/2 of an inch or something like that is not only wasting the cigar that they have, and they're also challenging the construction of it. The important things to keep in mind when lighting a cigar: as you light it, you're drawing in, and you need to rotate the cigar in your mouth as you're drawing it in so that it's lighting all the way around. The cigar is designed to be burned cylindrically, and consequently the enjoyment of the filler, the binder, and the wrapper are all in correct proportion together. But if you don't light it well and one side burns more aggressively than the other, then that proportion and that difference has changed. But other than that, not a lot of rules, not a lot of do's and don'ts.